Wait, is this on? Can we just hit record already?
Guys, hurry up, I have to nurse the baby.
Like
Okay.
I said, this sounds pretty
here we
mid.
go. I'm not gonna say that.
Okay, ready?
Well,
1, 2, 3.
this is Kayla
Kelsey,
Brooke.
and Hope.
and you're listening to the For Us podcast.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to episode 9. I can't believe it. We are almost to double digits.
Yeah.
I'm just truly proud of our consistency. It's impressive.
It's been hard. It's
Yeah.
been hard.
Yeah.
Getting 4 women on board every 2 weeks. It's not as easy as you think. Let me just put it that
It
way.
really is not. It's so hard. If you're just tuning into this episode for the first time, this podcast is called For Us. It's 4 sisters talking about life and faith and community and just having authentic conversations. Right now, it's just the 2 of us because we're doing some one-offs. We're doing one-on-one kind of interview style for the next 4 weeks where each sister is going to get on and kind of speak to just what is close to their heart and what they kind of want to hone in on. So today we are doing that. But before we jump into it, let's ask how our weeks have been. So Brooke, how has your week been since we've
Let's
last
see.
talked?
Yeah, first of all, I feel like it's been 18 years since I've been doing an episode because Kelsey had hers. So it's been like a month, but it just feels like forever. It's also weird not having the other 2 here, but we will make it through. How my week's been. Okay, I've entered like a spring cleaning phase because the weather got warm. So then I started buying a bunch of like pool accessories. So then I started throwing away other big toys in our backyard. Then I started replacing floor rugs for no reason. And it's like the whole watch out, mom has a trash bag. And I am just cleaning and replacing. And yeah, I'm going to call it spring cleaning. But I have this. Yeah, no, it's been a bit crazy. Like the amount of boxes Cody has to break down for trash this week. I'm like, sorry, but.
And
you know,
Brooke
he's
is
gonna think-
not shy to throw things away. Like every time I buy
No.
her kids a gift, I have to literally look at her and say, do not throw this toy away within the next 3 weeks because she will.
Yeah, I have like ranks. Like if it has a certain amount of little pieces, it's going to be quicker to go. It's like who it's from. There's ranks.
Don't say that. Now people are going to be texting you saying, do you still have?
That's a secret, the ranks. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty bad. I'm bad. I need to get better at like just not consuming in the first place. I guess I've been kind of convicted. Like I throw away so much. I need to stop buying so much then, or like we just have too much stuff. And so anyway, I'm going to get better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more of a minimalist for sure. I don't like clutter. I don't like a lot of things, but okay, that's amazing. My week has been good. I think I mentioned in the last episode that I got a new job. And so I am in week 2 of the new job and it's going so good and it's just so fun and it's been very just I don't know, refreshing, I guess is the word. And so it's been really fun and I've been enjoying that. And then just, what's a big update? We posted a video of our dad.
Yeah.
We posted a video of him
to fill them in on Aaron.
on TikTok. And it was just a simple little video. I had gone to a coffee shop with my parents and we walk in and there's this guy at the front counter and he's shirtless. And like a little weird, but whatever. I see my dad like kind of looking at him and I was like, oh my gosh, dad's going to act ridiculous right now. So I just started hitting record on my phone. I recorded it. My dad wanted to take off his shirt and like, he's like, if he can be shirtless, I could be shirtless. And my mom's all embarrassed. It was a whole little thing. I just snipped a little video together and posted it on TikTok just for fun. And it went viral, like actually viral. It is up to, I think, 11 million views.
Almost 11 million.
11 million views. Everybody is commenting. There's like 5,000 comments. Old Navy.
It's to the point where we can't even like read the comments. There's too many.
You can't. Old Navy commented on it. People are wanting to know what coffee shop it was. People think he's funny. People think my dad, dad's hot, which is so funny.
Yeah.
So we're famous, basically.
Yeah, literally. We're like, all right, here we go, girl. It's Aaron, though, that is making us famous. Not us.
Yeah.
It's Aaron, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But so now we're going to post more about him. Not that we want more viral videos, but like if people are
People like
enjoying
him.
the content, then I'm all about making people laugh. So let's just make them laugh.
And I mean, that is our dad. Like, that's just him. We're not making him do these funny things. He's been doing this our whole lives. If we would have been filming our whole lives, like, this is not new.
That's the thing.
So.
Like, none of it is acting. And when we ask him to act,
yes,
he
can't.
So weird. He can't do it.
He's been so weird recently. Kayla's been like, now that he is like famous on TikTok, Kayla's wanting to like make new little things like, Dad, do this. And he gets so weird. And we're like, what in the world? And so I'm like, he has to be naturally like in his zone for us to catch that good stuff.
Yeah. We'll post a clip of it for sure. But that was a fun thing for the family this week. Every day in our group chat, we were like, it's up to 5 million. It's up to 4 million, like, or 6 million.
Yeah. And he even texted and was like, 4 million what? And like views. And he's like, of what? I'm like, you, Dad. And then he said, what are these people having like nothing to do with their lives? I'm like, hating on his fans.
But then also at the same time, he's like, so could I get like a brand? When do I start getting money for this? He wants to monetize now.
Yeah. And he wants his clothes for free.
It's so funny.
Yeah, no, he's so funny. So that happened. So
yeah,
Aaron's on his road to fame.
And then Hope and Kelsey, what's new with them?
I don't know. Nothing much. Things are pretty steady right now.
Yeah, I don't think anything crazy is happening.
So that's good.
So, okay, well, let's get into it. Brooke, you have the mic this time. We're switching it up a bit.
Welcome to NBC4 News. This is my dream, to be the host. Just kidding. But I am the host. And, okay, Kayla, what did you decide you want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, so like we said, all four of us had kind of an area that we wanted to focus in on. And I think for me, as we've talked about our stories, like being my age and in my life stage, and I think it's just relatable to a lot of women in their 30s. And so talking about how to navigate life when it didn't kind of turn out how you expected. And so that's, I think, what we're going to hone in on for this episode.
Yeah. And I feel like you have such a good perspective on it because you're walking that road, but you have so much grace and I feel like learned a lot and your character's been built through these years. And so I feel like you definitely have a platform to speak on this topic because you've handled it just so great. Anyway, so yeah, you're usually the one asking questions. So this is going to be a fun switch. So growing up, what did you like assume about like timeline of life, like marriage, kids, timing? Like, what did you always just envision was like the standard, what you wanted? And then when did you like realize like it wasn't going to plan time wise?
Yeah, no, we talked about this in Kelsey's episode last week a little bit of like, we all grew up very close-knit and we were homeschooled. And so we were very close to our mom. And so we saw what our mom was doing day in and day out. She was a stay-at-home mom. Our dad was a pastor. And so another title that she had was like pastor's wife. And so when I was growing up, I really I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to be when I get older. Like I want to be a pastor's wife and a mom. Like it was so funny. Yeah. That was just like what my brain was telling me. And so yeah, I think my whole life, I always, when people would ask me how many kids do you want, I would say 4 because we had 4. Like, it just seemed like a good model. And then I think as I got older, I was, graduating high school. I'm the oldest. So the first out of all of us to kind of decide what path we're going on. And I thought, the husband thing and the kids, that's just going to happen because if it's the Lord's will, it's just going to happen. But in the meantime,
just fall into your lap at 21.
Yeah, exactly. Like my mom got married at 21. Our dad was 23.
At 22.
Yeah, so I just assumed it would happen.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I was very driven. And so I started school, like college, and my personality is a very driven personality. So once I lock in on something, I'm like, blinders are on, like eye on the prize, achieve. So went to college, did the internships, got the awards, like got the scholarships, all the things. I started at community college and then I had my eyes on a 4-year degree and then I had my eyes on a graduate degree and then I wanted to land the job. And like, so I just kept going and I was just so narrowly focused on that. And I think the whole time—
Were you going because you really wanted that? Or were you going because there was nothing else? Like the man hadn't showed up, so you might as well just keep staying busy.
No, at that time, I really wanted that. Like, that's what I wanted.
Okay. Yeah.
I did
Yeah, that's
want
what I
to be
thought.
married, but I didn't feel like I could, like, focus on that too much because the Lord will just make it happen. I think that was my mindset. I don't know. There was also some unhealthy patterns in my own life that we can get into of just me not thinking anyone was good enough and my expectations. And so there's layers, obviously, but I was just so focused on those goals. And so I think to answer your question, when I was about 26 is when I realized, oh, this isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. We have the degrees, we have the job, we have everything we've wanted except the family.
And another thing I think putting pressure on our timelines is that mom had all 4 kids before she was 30. And I don't know about you, but I always said that was a goal of mine. Like, okay, all my kids before 30.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure if you're approaching 30 and you haven't had one.
Yeah. And I will say, like, as I was like going after career and all that, my mindset did shift a little bit. And I knew I would probably get married when I was a little bit older. But then back then I was thinking like, okay, 27, 28. Like that was older to me.
Yeah.
And so when I was 26, 25, 26, I started to realize if I'm not seriously dating someone right now, I'm not going to get married for another year, and then we wouldn't have kids for another 2 years. Like, and so the timeline, that's when I just started to realize this timeline isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And did that make you feel like off track in life? Or like, I feel like you had your family, like me and Kelsey. Well, we were younger than you, but did you have like groups of friends that were doing that and then also groups of friends that weren't? So like, maybe you didn't feel off track, or did you? Like, how did it make you feel when you were starting to realize, like, uh-oh?
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends around me at the time were, my classmates who were pursuing graduate degrees and
Yeah.
jobs. And so, no, they weren't having families or kids and her husbands. But so that sphere, I was okay. I felt good in that sphere. But then in my family sphere, I have you and Kelsey who both got married, had kids, all while I'm still single. And so in that realm, I felt a little bit behind. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
I had 2 different groups where I did feel a little bit more balanced, and maybe I didn't realize as often,
Yeah.
that I may or may not feel behind, if that makes sense.
'Cause I feel like I feel like in our family's culture, at least, it's like, yeah, get married young, have babies young, like, that's what we just love and what we've always wanted to do. Like you said, copy your mom because it's such, like, a sweet way of life. But then I also feel like it's so normal as well in culture outside of our family to not have kids till you're in your 30s and not get married till you're in your 30s. I feel like a lot of people would say you shouldn't get married till you're in your 30s or whatever. So as much as it can feel lonely for you, I feel like at the same time, yeah, you're definitely not alone.
Totally, and I think, yeah, that's where the conflict is like, I'm okay. It is normal at my age to not be married or not have kids, like, I'm okay, but at the same time, it's not what I expected for my
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the conflict. I think also the Christian community. We were raised in church and like Christian community, and a lot of that community is getting married young and having kids
Yeah.
again. So it's what I was raised around, what I thought my life would be, and it's not. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say has surprised you most about being single still at your age? And not even at your age, like you're old, because you're what, 34,
Yeah.
30?
Yeah, 34.
Or like what do people like misunderstand about singleness? Like what do you feel, because you're living it, and what do you feel like people like see it as or misunderstand about it, and what's actually like good about it, like some positives about the season you're in that people like don't talk about? Because
Mm.
I think like people that are married like me, like I'm not dealing with being single later than I wanted to. So like I may just think it's so lonely and like, oh, how sad. And like I'm just praying every day your lover comes to you. And but like you're living it. Obviously, you're still, full of joy even though you have desires, but like yeah, so what would you say to like people that maybe don't understand the season you're in?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's just like it ebbs and flows. But I think what I've learned and what surprised me is like how much I do have learned to appreciate and value like downtime, because you're not going to get
Mhm.
downtime, truly downtime, like quiet time, relaxation time, like rest time, you're never going to get that again when you're outside of singleness. Whether you're
Yeah.
married with kids or just married, like you're tied to a person. And so that sometimes when I get down or, wanting a different season, I really think about that and I'm so grateful for it. Like when I'm exhausted because of doing whatever it is, not even things for myself, but if it's doing like community service work or serving, like running an event or even long work weeks, like the fact that I get to come home at night and just put my head on the pillow and not have to think about anyone or anything else is like such a huge blessing that I do not take for granted. And I know it won't always be there and I'm willing to sacrifice it and I'm ready to sacrifice it when the time comes. But as I'm in it right now, it's like such a gift. And I think sometimes people maybe that aren't single don't realize like, yeah, it can be rough to be single, but also there is a lot of blessing.
There is.
Yeah.
And we see it as moms of little ones, me and Kelsey, how Hope and Kayla can just enjoy their Saturdays or their days off and tan and nap.
Yeah.
And again, like she said, she's ready and wants that like chaos and to be busy. But she's also, you're enjoying what you have for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely changes.
Totally. Willing to give it up. And I think it's natural to give it up and to live your life,
Yeah.
sacrificing to someone else, a child or,
Yeah.
but while I have it, I'll enjoy it. I was just talking to some moms this week at work and they were saying something about they're so busy. And I was like, yeah, I'm so busy too. I don't have time for that. And I looked at them both. I said, just to be clear, I'm not busy like you guys are busy. I understand. Because like,
I know. One time I think you said like you're busy or I said like, what are you doing today? And you're like, I have plans. I'm like, what? And you're like, plans to be in my bed. And I'm like, okay, enjoy your all day in your bed.
yeah, truly.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
Sometimes
there's pros and
I
cons.
feel bad for you sometimes, like really bad. Like if we get home, if we're all out all day at a park or something, or like I don't know, like when we go, what's a good example? When we go apple picking every year and we go up to
Yeah.
the mountains and we go apple picking and it's exhausting and there's traffic and you're eating all the sugar and you're dirty and allergies. When we have to go all the way back home and to think that you have to continue to watch 4 children for the rest of the night. When I get to just come home, take a shower, get in bed,
Yes.
have a
DoorDash dinner.
Yes, peaceful. I feel so bad for you.
Those are the times. Or like traveling. Like I feel like we've gone on trips and landed and then got out of the airport and Kayla takes off and is in silence and peace and goes home and we're still getting kids in car seats and kids are screaming and I haven't peed in 6 hours and we're hungry and we need to feed 6 mouths.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah. I always say pros and cons of both. Like, I love my season. I think there's beauty in your season and vice versa. And yeah, just to find the joy in all our seasons. God is good in all of them. I will say, how is it with like comparison? Like, I feel like, yeah, you had your friends that were single when you were single, but then some have moved on and found someone and got married and now are having kids. And does it feel like they left you in the dust or I mean, you're obviously genuinely happy for them, but do you ever deal with any like jealousy or poor me or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm so happy for them always, like never doubt in that. But definitely they left me in the dust for sure.
Like, especially when they have kids, because then like friends really leave you in the dust. If they have kids and you don't, bye.
And it's not, I get it. They don't have as much time. I totally get it. It's I think the comparison thing, if I really do get in my feels about it, it's like, wow, they're getting to like build such a special life with someone, or even if they're not with someone, if they're having kids alone or whatnot, like they're creating a legacy for them. Like their life is going to live beyond what they are. And I think that's so special. And that's something that as a single person, obviously I'm not doing. And so that part I compare. Yeah. And I think comparing too, like I had a friend, I was this was like 10 years ago. So I was like 24, 25, and she was getting married and I was so excited for her and I was her maid of honor and it was just so exciting. And I was not comparing or like jealous in any way. I was just so genuinely happy. But in the back of my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm probably next, like in the next couple years, Lord, or like, I don't know, I'll be soon.
We'll double date together and have babies together.
Yeah, like I can be patient. I can wait for my time, I'm not jealous that that's happening for her at all. But never in a million years did I think 10 years later I would still be single and she would have just kept going with her life and like kids and all the things. Like she is 10 years married now and I am still in the same, relationally speaking, the same space. And so that part gets really hard.
Yeah, praise God he doesn't give us that forward vision because that would have killed you.
No,
But in
truly.
hindsight, yeah,
Yeah, and it still kills me. I was
you're
talking to,
trucking along.
I was talking to Hope this week. We were laying at the pool and we were talking about relationships and stuff. And I was like, I'm not stressed or upset that like where I'm at right now, single with no kids. That's fine. I'm fine. What I'm not okay with is the thought that in 5 years I might be in this same position. Because 5 years ago, never did I think that 5 years from then I'd be in the same position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like the hard part, probably.
Yeah, I know. And that's where the like, not lack of faith, but like, your brain thinking, no, this could be another 5-10 years. And then that's just a spiraling.
Yeah.
Waiting to happen. But I always tell Kayla, I'm like, and what I told myself in my small season of being single in between
I hate when she brings this up.
my one boyfriend and my husband, it was like 8 months.
8 months.
I was so sad. And I was like, I may not ever get married. But anyway, I just said to myself one day, I said, you never know what morning you are going to wake up. And that is the day you meet your husband. So I always try to tell Kayla, I'm like, I know it's sad and whatever, and you feel like it might be forever, but like, you never know if next Thursday is going to be the day you run in or meet on the app or whatever. And it starts. So I just try to keep it.
It's so true. And can we talk about your program? Because that's like the essence of it. It's like
we need to plug my program. I was waiting for a time to plug the program and here it is. Here it is. Okay, so no one has more hope for Kayla than I do. That is our slogan. That is what we stand on for my company called Operation Christmas Lover. Now, what we do at Operation Christmas Lover is we provide hope to hopeful singles that by Christmas of the coming year, they will have a lover, because everyone gets lonely at the holidays. Like you want to like have a cuddler and all that kind of stuff. It's really hard for Kayla around the holidays.
Oh my God.
So I've always said like, you will have a lover by Christmas, like January till November. That's what I tell her. And I say, no one has more hope for you than me in our company.
And the whole idea is that like yes, I'm hopeful for my future, obviously, but there are days where it's like, I feel a little more hopeless. And Brooke's company is a company that holds the hope for you when you don't have hope.
Exactly.
So, no matter what, she always believes and hopes and without a shadow of a doubt tells me that you will have a lover by Christmas. So Brooke, tell them what happens when December 1st rolls around each year and I don't have a lover.
Okay, so she's been enrolled in our program for 6 years. She's one of our longest standing
I got out of
clients.
it a couple times.
She got out 1 year because she was blessed with a lover. She got a certificate. Maybe a couple. But you know what? That didn't work out and she ended up loverless again around the following Christmas. And I had to, unfortunately, send her not only re-enrollment paperwork to rejoin, but also a re-enrollment fee. So she had to pay to enter again, but we sent our condolences and we're back on the train. I mean, we really did roses on Valentine's Day from the company, right? Let me get that. Yeah. This is legit. I run a real company.
So this Valentine's Day, I got flowers delivered to my door. And the note said, no one has more hope for you than we do. Happy Valentine's Day. Your friends at Operation Christmas Lover LLC. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm flashing it on the screen so you can see this is real. It lives on my...
We're legit.
Yeah.
We're legit. If you want to join, comment below. We'll send you the paperwork. But again, no one has more hope for her than I do. So that's all I have to say
Can we
about
talk
that.
about how when I did have a lover at Christmas time, she sent me a certificate that's like
Yes.
laminated. I have it in my room. It's a
Legit.
certificate and it said, "Congratulations, you've graduated from the program. You have a lover." But then at the bottom, in like 5 font, number 5 font, it said, what did it say? "If you lose your lover and have to re-enroll in the program for following years, there will be a re-enrollment fee."
Yeah, we have to put down the rules. We're a real business. Oh my, it's so fun. It's like the funnest thing I have going with her. I'm going to be sad when that's over, but
It is so funny, the certificates I have. So yeah, if you're a single lady out there and need someone to carry the hope for you when you just can't, I definitely recommend enrolling in Operation
Christmas lover. Yes, it's so good.
It's so funny. Anyways, the way you're
Okay.
just so committed to it is honestly, it blesses me.
I'll never stop until you have that lover. So anyway, shifting back to serious talk. Okay, so regarding like your walk with God during not just this season, but like, all your growing up in this, to where you are now. How has like your faith looked through this or ebbed and flowed through this? Do you feel like you've had to like reframe your expectations or like how you trust God differently or things like that? Like, how has just your walk with the Lord been through all of it?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, shaped my relationship with the Lord. Like I said, growing up, a lot of the messaging that we would hear is that, the Lord will bring you your husband, or you'll know when it's the right one because he'll make it clear and stuff like that. And so I think for a long time, I really thought I don't really have to have much action in this. I don't really have to do much. It's just going to show up at my front door type thing. And, there was a period probably in my 20s and when I got really frustrated with the Lord and like blaming him, like, "Lord, this is what I want, but like, why hasn't it happened?" Like, and blaming him. And then as I got older, I had to really realize, like, okay, it's okay to be frustrated with the Lord, obviously, but also let's look inward and let's see like what were some habits or some thought patterns that I was having that has maybe impacted the way I've navigated relationships and maybe is why I'm not married. And not saying that that's a slippery slope too. You don't want to get into a thought pattern of like, it's me, it's me, it's me. But there's a
Yeah.
time and a place to say like, what am I bringing to the table that may be contributing to my reality?
Yeah, like have you been fully open to what the Lord has brought you,
Totally. Have you shut
Yeah.
doors? And that was a lot of it too,
Yeah.
because I don't want this to sound like I've never had opportunities. Like
She's never been on a date.
like there's been opportunities. There were, guys in my 20s that probably, like there was marriage talk and all of that, but I was the one saying no. And so was that a healthy no, or was that a no out of insecurity? Was that a no because of, selfish reasoning? And so looking at myself and realizing that, and I did identify some things, like back to that comment of like no one being good enough. There was something in me that wanted to prove something, impress someone, and so I think that caused me to, say no to a lot of opportunities. But yeah, it's so my relationship with the Lord, it's ebbed and flowed for sure in terms of this. I think, yeah, he, there's a scripture in Ephesians 4:20. It says, God, wants to give you more than you can ask, think, or imagine. And I always keep that in my mind of like, okay, Lord, like nothing's happening. And the ones that are in front of me are like,
Low standard.
like, yeah, don't have a job, but I'm going to believe that what you want for me is more than I can think, ask, or imagine, and believe that you're going to do that for me. And so, yeah, sometimes I just have to say that and I don't believe it. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm saying it and I believe it with everything in me. And so,
And that's totally okay because that's what faith is. Like, I mean, as Christians, do we believe like wholly in our hearts everything all the time? No, but we're called to be obedient and trust what the Bible says, period. And so I think you do a great job at that. Like, you may not always feel hopeful or full of joy in being single or whatever, but like, you've never wavered on the truths of God and his promises. Like, I feel like you do pretty good at least keeping your focus, on what the word says regarding these topics or our desires in general.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. What would you say your expectations or your desires or your standards now versus when you were 21 or even a teenager when you envisioned what you want? Like, do you feel like those have shifted? Because now you are 30, and so I feel like us as women just grow up a lot in our 20s and our 30s. I feel a lot different in my mindset on things right now than I did when I was 20. So if I still wasn't married, you have a whole new like maturity view on what you want your future partner to look like because you're not married yet. So how has or at all has your expectations or standards, things like that, shifted?
Yeah, no, that's like so huge. And that's like a hard thing to navigate too. I think two parts to that. One, when I was younger, I had this idea of who the person would be, and the standards were too high. No 20-year-old, 21, 22-year-old is going to be fully successful in their career, is going to be like not living in their mom's house. Like my standards were just too high when I was young. And and also too specific, not even high, specific. Like when I talk about seeing my mom as a pastor's wife growing up, that's what I wanted to be. And so I wanted to marry someone who was a pastor, not an accountant, not a businessman, like a pastor. And so again, very narrow minded there. And so there was that. As I've in my if somebody asks me right now, like, what are you looking for? I say age appropriate,
She's lowered her standard.
has a job, and loves the Lord. I'm pretty sure those are
Yeah.
my only three.
Yeah, no, like it gets funnier, like literally like alive, a male, loves Jesus, can walk or something. I don't know.
No, totally. But at the same time, the pool is narrow because I'm not
Yeah.
20, I'm 34. So I am expecting someone to have a solid job. I am expecting someone to have a good amount of maturity and life experience because that's just what you do expect at this age. And
And
so,
also there's beauty in it because when we're young, I feel like like I said, less mature, more narrow-minded. You have this list for your future guy of what you need them to be. Now that you're older, more mature, you know a little bit more about like what's important in life. So it's not necessarily, we joke that you've lowered your standards, but it's actually not that you've lowered your standards. You've just like honed in on what's actually important because truly a man who's hardworking and
yes.
loves the Lord
Yeah.
is literally all you need. I can attest to that. That's like all you need. That's what's going to make a marriage, make a life happy. So
Totally.
I think that's a really cool thing that you've gained
Yeah.
by still being single, you know?
Well, and at this age, you're really looking for what's going to stand the test of time. It's those internal characteristics. Like,
Yeah.
I dated someone who was nothing that I thought I would end up with on paper, right? Like, wasn't a pastor or like, church, super involved in church, wasn't like serving at church, all the things. But as I got to know him and as I'm in relationship with him, I'm realizing he has more like the kindness in his heart and his love for people and his love for Jesus was more than I'd ever seen in anyone. And that's what like made me fall in love and picture a life there. And so it didn't have to do with his specific job title or what was on paper, but it's like those heart characteristics. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the list is shorter now.
Yeah. It's more refined. And like I said, I feel like young people, we get married and then like you're still growing up. And so things can come out or not develop in your guy or in yourself. But you're married because you got married at 20. And I'm not saying getting married young is bad. I totally love that and support it. But there are pros and cons to
Totally.
both.
And one of the cons about getting married older is you both have now a lot of life experience, a lot of routines and ways you think through things and do things. And so everything is like you come into a conflict and you're like, okay, what have you experienced in your past relationships? What have you
Yeah.
like how do you navigate that? And so when you're 20, you don't have those conversations. When you're in your
Yeah.
30s, you do. And again, not bad. It's just a different way to navigate relationships.
Yeah, it's more to handle like the history you both bring into it can but hey, you're old and mature and ready to be able to handle it.
Hopefully.
So, kind of wrapping up, what would you say to someone else in your similar situation, or not even, 30 and older. We're not only talking about marriage, we're just talking about not being in a place you thought you'd be at your age. So to anyone who feels that way, what would you say?
Yeah, I think it's not just about marriage. It's not just about kids. I mean, because we didn't even talk about kids. Like, that's a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah.
And biological clock and all of that. It's
Yeah.
career. You could put yourself in this scenario for anything that you're not in, that you thought you would be in.
Yeah.
Career, whatnot, like whatever it is. I think what I would say is, like, you do not know what tomorrow holds. Like, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah.
You literally don't know what tomorrow holds, and you have to hold on to that, because tomorrow could be the best day of your life. Tomorrow could also be the worst day of your life. Like, we just don't know. So trying to not, borrow worry from tomorrow, live in today, be hopeful. But I think also it's like, be okay when you're not, and like, be honest with those emotions and
Yeah.
give yourself grace. Don't be hard on yourself. But know that even when you're in a low day, or feeling bad for yourself, or having a lot of regret, same thing. You don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, even in your emotions. You might not feel this tomorrow. And so, um, yeah, just being hopeful. The other thing I would say is enroll in Operation Christmas Lover specifically. Um, no, but in that, it's like, have someone who can carry that hope when you can't. And,
Yeah.
like, pray those prayers when you can't. Because there's times where I literally can't pray for what I need or what I want. I can't pray to the Lord for a husband, because it's just, sometimes it's so frustrating. And
But Wendy's praying every day.
Mom is on her knees all the time, so that is good.
He is so frustrating.
So, yeah, having people in your corner who are encouraging you constantly, and
Yeah.
praying for you and all of that. I think that's a big one.
I think just like focusing on being obedient to where the Lord has you, what he has you doing, whether that's, on a career path, in the relationship zone, anything in life going forward. Just like, once one foot in front of the other, knowing you're in line with what the Lord's wanting for you. And that's all you really can do.
Yeah, and I think the more you're in the waiting, you can either get really bitter at it and get really angry
Yeah.
and just frustrated, or you can learn to, like, grow in it and become more mature in it.
And also trying to be in like a place where you're also not holding on to what you're expecting so tightly. As far as all, like, if you're a Christian, like, you feel like the Lord's going to give you what you want, like he promised, and so you're waiting, that could set you up for disappointment, because you never know what the Lord has for you. And sometimes the desires in your heart don't come to fruition. And so I will say that as well. Like, obviously, we have these desires for a reason, and I truly believe that. And so I have a lot of hope for Kayla and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you don't want to only live in a way where you're just waiting for something to happen in the future, but that you're just like, living day to day full of joy. And that if that was your last day and you weren't where you want to be, it's okay, because, you're fully fulfilled.
Yeah, and that's a hard place to get to, and I think that is, like, maturing in the waiting, is really realizing, like, I'm waiting for something, but also not in the sense of I'm not living my life as it is right now.
Living
Because
today.
the reality is, yeah, I might not get married ever, or I might
Yeah.
not have kids ever, and am
Yeah.
I gonna be okay with that? And to be
Yeah.
totally honest, I can't say that I would be okay with that, But again, I don't know what the future holds. You just never know. Um, and so living in today, having hope for tomorrow, but in a really healthy and balanced way.
Yeah. Because this life is so short and temporary, and like we have so much more glory ahead. And so,
Yeah, and until then, I will just continue to date and
I told Kayla one time I'm gonna be sad when she's no longer single and dating and on the apps, because her stories are just top notch. She'll like call me and I'll say, "You are so entertaining for me." And she's like, "I'm glad I can be that for you."
I'm like crying. I'm crying,
Yeah.
and she's just like, "Tell me more."
So I'll be sad when that all dies down, but in the meantime, it is pretty fun.
For you.
Yeah, for
Because
me to
you get to
witness
be in your home on a Friday night, sitting on the couch without a
eating
bra
my
on,
McFlurry.
getting a McFlurry. Not me. Not me. One time, I went on a date on a Friday night. It didn't go well. I came home, and I think I called you or my mom crying. And she was like, "What's wrong? It's okay." And I was, she's like, "It's okay. You're going to find someone." I said, "No, I'm crying because it's a Friday night. I'm wearing a wired bra and makeup, and I want to be on my couch, And so it's just,
Oh, those are the saddest moments. It's so bad.
No, but
The
there's been-
amount my mom like calls me is so frustrated for Kayla. I'm like, I know, Mom. I know. We don't know what the Lord's doing, and we're like so upset together. I'm very curious to see who she ends up with because she is such a hoot, man. You are missing out. I will say that. Okay, well, I loved this conversation. Kayla is amazing in and out of the seasons she goes through and always encouraging to us sisters, but I feel like everyone she knows and comes across. So thanks for sharing your perspective on singleness, but also in just not being where you thought you'd be, at your age.
Well, thanks for being such a good host and asking
But
great.
yeah, how did I do?
You did really good.
10 out of 10. Yeah, no, I know.
Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.
Right. Bye.
Bye.